Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman.
And welcome, everybody. So glad to have you here. Another exciting show for the Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Grateful to be with you today, talking to you about awakened sales. Is your gold mine, hiding right underneath your bed? I'm going to go ahead and tell you what that's all about and how you can, just go ahead and scoop up that gold that might be hidden under your bed and let that come forth into your life. Believe it or not, I'm telling you that it's right there. It's right there. I'm going to help you to tap into that and to unleash it. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel just to love yourself up by saying yes to being a spiritual rock star and acknowledging yourself for your own spiritual rock stardom. Whatever may be the case, you are a spiritual rock star. Go ahead, love up the subscribe button today. All right. Well, anyway, so let's have some fun. Okay, so on this subject, recently I remember telling someone I did a reading, scan reading for, and I told them that I saw that, their gold was right underneath their bed, and it was a metaphor for what was going on for her, and we never got that deep into it, into the particulars, but it stood in my mind, and and I wanted to share with you what universally I feel this means for so many of us in our awakened path and wanting to share and serve at this next level, wanting to do big world changing things, etc. So one of the things I became aware of just even before just recording this podcast is just how much of ourselves that we cut off, as we're going on in our life, right? So when you think about it again, when we're kids, many of us anyway, were more playful and creative and imaginative when we were kids. Some of us had imaginary friends, or we just sort of had daydream more, maybe, or whatever it is. Not all of everybody, but I'm saying we were more in that childlike state, whatever that meant for you. And as we grow up, so to speak, I think about my own girls and adolescence and everything. It's like, whoa, we're losing the childlike self, kind of, it feels like. And yet, you're just growing up, physically, mentally, emotionally. And then you get, go from there, you start getting into adulthood and beyond, adulthood and beyond, so to speak. And, as we go through, I feel like our minds, if you want to call it the mind or the ego or whatever you want to call it, something inside of ourselves starts like, it's almost like a pruning process, right? Well, it doesn't seem like we need so much imagination all the time. That doesn't seem to be practical or fit into the box of life that I'm being showed. So snip, 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 and we cut it off. And then we take it, or if we're out in the room, okay, getting back to the title of the show, we're like, oh, we got all this imagination laying around. Geez, I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit the environment. Doesn't seem to go with the sheets. Why don't I just stuff it under the bed? Just put it to the side. So it's not that it's disappeared or it's gone entirely, but it's being repressed. It's been put under the bed. So we have all this creativity, imagination, all these things we come up with. Again, some of you, not everybody, you come up with as a kid. Some of that energy, or a lot of it, might have been shelved, pruned, or whatever, however you want to look at it. And like, to imagine it's all underneath your bed. You just like, remember, I don't know if you did this when you were a kid. That's what I would do. When I had to clean my room, where would I put things? I shove it underneath my bed. I throw it in my closet. That was my thing. And I had a very messy room. So when I had to go clean, it's like, oh God, what do I got to do? I don't want to go through all this stuff. Throw it under the bed, throw it in the closet, right? So, what are you, throw in your closet, right? The closet, the shadow bag. What are you putting underneath your bed? and therefore, you've disowned. So sometimes we've disowned our intuitive gifts too, right? So we have abilities to see, know things, etc. Maybe we had a sense of being really extraordinary with knowing things, but when it seems so uncanny and so scary, maybe to other people or to yourself, wow, doesn't seem to fit, doesn't seem to be the way most of us operate. Put it underneath the bed. Okay, doesn't seem to fit the environment. I need to clean it up. They say, no, we don't need that. That's not acceptable or whatever. Put it underneath the bed. And then you go to sleep, every day, you're playing in that room of your being or your life or however you want to look at it. It's just a metaphor, but at night you're sleeping right over, all this stuff is right there, right there. It's right there underneath your bed. And so there's so many ways that this applies, not only to like these aspects of ourselves, energy within ourselves, and therefore gifts within ourselves that we call imagination, creativity, intuition, and probably a whole lot more different things. Things like being more straightforward with people, often for spiritual people. A lot of times we put that underneath the bed. Boy, that's not too spiritual. Seems to get people upset. It's no good. It's not loving. It's not kind. So we won't be too straightforward. Better not be too bottom line. Put that underneath the bed too. Um, so whatever it is, it's all these different aspects of our being that we're just pinching off. So we have a gold mine right there. It's lying within us, but we have to open up the energy to come out and play again and let it be uh, well. And I really believe this. I think that if we collectively and therefore individually, we all decided to stop putting everything underneath the bed and allow ourselves to bring it out and let it find its let it let it share itself with the world, that we would have a far more create a more prosperous world, I guess is what I'm looking for. I'm like, what would we have? We'd have a more prosperous world. We have a more enlightened world. We have a more loving world because we'd be loving ourselves. We'd have more, talk about money and cash flow or whatever. Like you would experience more in some form or fashion. So you experience more riches, more abundance. And so it's worth asking yourself, what have you stowed away? I'm just thinking, like I said before this podcast, I was like, boy, I really sort of had some imaginary friends as a child. Whatever happened to that? Rather than saying like, oh, that's just for kids, that's the usual sorts of ways of being. What if I had imaginary friends now? What if I utilize those imaginary friends as support and help in my life, like so-called imaginary friends? But if we're imagining them, it's just energy that exists that we're tuning into, is how I look at it. So if I create imaginary friends, I could create imaginary team of beings that could give me consultation or advice, and I could custom create them. So we have so many riches to tap into. And so what are you putting underneath? Like, another thing is to directly look at, for you business owners, like directly look at what do you put underneath that maybe you used to do in your business that you really enjoy, but because it didn't seem to be working, you put it underneath your bed. Like, okay, I used to do healing with my coaching, but then I decided no, I should go all healer and no coaching. And then like I thought that was better, and I made the coaching wrong. But boy, coaching actually really was good. So maybe I should. But I don't know. I just love the healing. I'd rather just do healing. But part of me wonders about that coaching. So how can you bring it all together, right? So often we've pinched off these different things that we can offer people in our business. Did you used to have a product or a service, or do you have a longing to serve in a way that you just keeps making wrong? Like, well, that couldn't be possibly. I mean, just sharing meditations with people, I mean, that's fine and dandy, but how am I ever going to make a lot of money doing that? Or whatever it is, like judging it, not seeing like how you can leverage it in your business so that it would fulfill your purpose, that it would fulfill your purpose and support your tribe and your business and shoot your sales to the roof at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. So, what have you shelved that you really enjoy in your life and could maybe be integrated in your business? Is it imaginary friends? Is it latent creative writing ability or your artistic stuff? What is it? You've got a gold mine. It's just sitting underneath your bed. You have so many gold mines. So that within yourself, what have you pinched off? Things you could be offering, what products, services, things that you put on the shelf or underneath your bed that could bring gold if you were to unearth them and bring them out maybe in a new way, a new container. What is it? So making an inventory of these things, doing a journaling exercise. Hey, what are the things that I've shelved or pinched off? They're right there, just hiding underneath my bed, so to speak. What are those things that are those things what do I want to bring forth? How do I want to bring it back forth? And how would that support me? And then journal on that, write about that. And this will awaken you and this will bring you more sales if you do it with intentionality, bringing more support and love and goodness into the world. So, one of the abilities I have is with channeling, and but I do business coaching. So it seems like, well, God, they're just kind of, I don't know, is business coaching, could channeling really go with that? Like if I think in my head, maybe they don't go together. But channeling, I get the best marketing messages for my clients when I'm channeling, when I'm just channeling it, right? I often bring great attunement to people when I'm doing my channeling or my channeled prayers. I bring great attunement to them. That's so soul satisfying that can support their overall energy and their confidence and directly turn on energy that can help them in their sales. So, whatever it is, um, how can I utilize more of the gifts I have? I use a tremendous creativity within my healing processes with people, with my creative processes of discovering the brands, for example. I've let more and more of that be well. I've stopped judging my way of being as being too eccentric, too different, doing it exactly the way it feels right for me. I can judge it and say, no, this is how we have to be as business coaches, right? So, how are you judging yourself? And if you let go of that judgment and just let yourself be exactly as who you are, what more could be possible for you? So, to take a look at that. There's so many levels, so many levels to this, so many levels. So if you also look at there's so many other levels you could look at, like in terms of resources you have, like who's in your network, who are your partners, who are the people you haven't been contacting lately, is my point. Like you have a whole Rolodex of people that could be referral based partners. They, just referrals or whatever, or clients. So what have you put underneath the bed that you haven't got to in a while? While you're looking out for new fruits and new opportunities, when it might be right underneath your bed, there might be a huge gold mine. So, or you might have a huge gold mine in what you already have to share, and you're already sharing the world, but you're not valuing it at a high enough level, and in order for it to prosper. Therefore, you've got a gold mine right in front of you again, but you're not seeing it properly or in the highest light, and so it doesn't perform the way you'd like to. Maybe you have a gold mine in terms of how you could be marketing. Maybe it could be creative. Maybe it could be far different and far funner and far easier than you could imagine. But you keep thinking it's like, I've got to do 10 lives a day or whatever. I don't know. Like I'm exaggerating, but like I've got to do all these things. I got to get millions on Instagram and all this stuff. Whatever your ideas are, it's like, well, is that really true? Or is it really want to happen another way? Really listening deeply to discover where the real truth is. Because that's what I'm about. I'm about getting to the bottom line, of what the real truth is, and being very playful and creative in a process of unearthing what is my truth, what's other people's truths, what wants to come forth. Let's bring it to bear, right? So whatever it is for you, it is the path of loving yourself. I guess self-actualization is part of it. Evolving ourselves and evolving the culture, evolving the community. As one of my clients talks about, that I love that beauty, which how she says that evolving together, right, collectively, like collectively evolving. So how do we want to collectively evolve? What things are we suppressing as a society? Can you tap into that and maybe unleash that within yourself and within those that you're here to help, so that we can see systemic collective shifts in so many ways, so many different ways. So these are all gold mines to expand the interconnection and the love and the sharing and the abundance that we already have. And when we circulate abundance in the form of energy, when we allow it to, it can, allow the sense of value to increase, and we can start letting the money in from that place, just allowing it to connect with the money energy. And then we can experience incredible abundance as we get structured and strategize around it and embody the right state of being for us. We share our gifts, our truest gifts, our greatest gifts, and all our potential. All these things, it's sort of a magic formula in a way to unlock more of your potential. So take a look at that. This is a deep subject. I could go on, but my intention is to make this podcast more pithy for a change. So I'm going to sort of leave it at that, but go ahead and make an inventory of this. And if you're looking for, more help to discover more of your, where is my gold mine? I kind of getting what you're getting at, but I'd love some support and unearthing it and really valuing it and seeing how to package it as a brand, as a service, as a whatever, or reconstructing what I'm sharing in the world. That's what I do. So if you want more help with that, feel free to reach out to me, and you can do that at my website at yoursacredpurpose.com, or you can always reach me on social media at Daniel Hanneman on Facebook. You can reach out to me there, and at the Rock Your Sacred Purpose community right there on Facebook. So go ahead and check all that out, and feel free to reach out with me any discussion or questions, or if you want me to tune in with my gifts of tuning in for you, let me know. I'm happy to be of support to you. Okay, well, I'll leave it at that for today. And know that you are loved, you are blessed, you are meant to rock it in a big way, being all of yourself, whatever that means to you, and being exactly who you really are. So rock on, everybody. You keep on listening in, and I'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. All right, till next time, everybody. Goodbye for now.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.